communicated to your RM office on that very same day, I believe October the 6th, it might have been the 7th, regarding additions to our property. One being the south side of our ditch has been, it's in need of repair simply because of the fact that there has been equipment that has gone on that particular side of the ditch. I usually cut that side of the ditch, but it's very, very difficult because I use a push lawnmower and the ruts, etc., preclude me from being able to really do a half-decent job without running into not only concerns about my health, but also just about simply the equipment that we're using, okay? This other addition is to the driveway. A little while back, new culverts were installed on our street. As a result of these culverts being installed, our driveways were dug up. The driveways have subsequently sunk, and they do not meet the new asphalt road that was installed. I believe at that particular point in time, there was some mention of the fact that the driveways would be improved with additional gravel, quarter down, or whatever it is that you put on the driveways. At this particular time, I'd like to make the following comments. As informed by Sean about changing the slope of the north side of the ditch, nothing can be done. My initial question with regards to asking who the councillors were in my particular ward, I want them to see the severity of the slope firsthand. I cannot take pictures. I cannot even begin to tell you how serious the slope is as a result of the drainage that was completed, I'm not sure how many years ago. In any event, as my wife will attest, not too long ago I was out cutting that particular side of the ditch. I slipped, almost got hit by the lawnmower, and that's what really prompted me to get a little bit ugly with regards to seeking some sort of assistance from this particular council to do something. Sean tells me he can't. I understand why he can't, but at this particular point in time, if there's nothing that can be done with regards to that north side of the ditch, I am informing council today that I will no longer cut that portion of the ditch, which extends from a new culvert that they installed recently that runs under the road, spills onto my side of the ditch, and extends to the rail line. I simply can't cut it, and I won't cut it anymore. I'm appalled by the length of time that it has taken by our elected officials to address tax-paying concerns. It's been 3.5 months. Never got a phone call, never had anybody come out to take a look until Sean came out and just recently told me that it was his first indication that he had received information about the service calls that had been put in place and by my follow-up service calls as well. I think that's a very undue length of time for any tax-paying citizen to have to wait to talk to somebody about our property, or your property, or our combined property, which I look after. I was a relationship banker for 30 years. And if I treated my clients the way this RM has treated us, my wife and I, as a taxpayer, I would have been fired many times over. I just simply could not treat my clients that particular way, not returning telephone calls, not answering emails, or doing anything to at least acknowledge that you had a concern about me as a taxpayer. We sincerely hope that these repairs, along with the ones that I've outlined in the new service request, can be completed properly and in a timely manner. As we are not going away, I will continue to follow this, and we hope that we do not have to continue to follow it like previously, but the RM will take some initiative to represent the taxpayer with hopefully some positive results. Thank you for your time. Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I was going to open it up to council. Go ahead, Councillor Boulanger.
2 questions.
Yes?
At any point in this, in your district, in any point in this situation, in this thing that's happening here, were you given a tracking number?
No?
Physical number?
No?
You never were given a tracking number?
No, and as a matter of fact, in further response, the most recent service request that I just put in as a result of the comments that I received on the activity, I called the RM office. The girl said she put in a service request. I also asked for Sean from Public Works to give me a call back because it was timely with regards to what we had discussed at great length that day, and the fact that in his comments there was no mention about the gravel, quarter down, whatever it is that you put on the driveway.
That printout you have there, is that an actual printout of something you were given off the computer?
Yeah, so comments.
Right.
RM.
So is that from the service request portion?
Yes, it is.
And there's no tracking number that's attached to it or on it, or it doesn't say, here's your response, Mr. So-and-so, the tracking number is?
ID details 13626, would that be a tracking number?
So,
That would be?
so that is what I'm referring to.
Okay, so you got this.
Right, so what I'm getting at here is that a tracking number did come with that. I just want to make sure that internally things are happening correctly, right? So if that's from the service request, at first you said there was no tracking number, and I kind of figured you didn't know what that number was, but that is a tracking number.
This was October the 6th.
Right.
This isn't June the 24th.
Right, but what I'm getting at is the tracking number correlates your name to that issue.
Okay.
That's the only point I'm making. I
Yeah.
just want to make sure things are going the way.
Understand.
Secondly, my second question is, and I think you know this, and I think a lot of ratepayers know this, and I'm not saying this in a negative way, so don't take it that way.
Okay.
But the ditch isn't your responsibility to cut. I know you cut it because you want it looking good, and I get that. I understand that. But you're not made to, told to, or asked to cut that ditch. Many people do because we all want our places to look nice in front of it. But I just want to throw that out that it is a municipal ditch. You're not required to take life and limb to go down with a live lawnmower on a ditch that you're really not asked to cut. It's just a statement. Okay, thank you. That's it.
In response to that, I can tell you that the tractor with the mower has come down our street on occasion. He cuts a portion of the north side of Church Road South, only for a very short distance, and that's all that has ever been cut. We've never seen the mower come down the south side, which is where I live, on that particular side, because you're right. All of us on that particular side take great pride in making certain that our ditch is somewhat compatible to our yards.
Right. Good, thank you.
And Sean mentioned that. He said that was fine. He said if you don't want to cut it, don't cut it. I guess the only problem is that there is a culvert, as I mentioned, that goes from the north side of Church Road South, across the road to the south side. It spills into the ditch on our side, okay? So I don't know that the mower could actually get past that particular point. And that's the point that really sort of concerns me more, is from that culvert extending east to the rail line.
Okay, anybody else have any questions or comments on the issue? Go ahead, Councillor Strang.
I was going to mention the same thing about the tracking number. I was going to ask, how many times, do you know how many times that you did call the RM?
from
just
the
know you
initial
did
June
several,
the
so-
24th,
Yeah,
I'm going to say at least after the initial response that I got, I would say 2 and possibly 3 times thereafter. And the only way that I got any sort of results was by sending in an email to acknowledge that I was still waiting for someone to come out, because I was initially here on August the 26th or something, I'm not sure the exact date, made a presentation at that point in time. And at that point in time, and I don't want to sound negative, but Mayor Feeblecorn told me that someone would be looking after that particular matter. I did not have anyone come out until I finally sent in another email, and that's when Sean came out on October the 6th.
thank you.
Okay, go ahead, Councilor Gazarovich.
When you said Sean came out, he told you he couldn't do anything, what does that mean?
You couldn't do anything with the ditch on the,
The
so the
slope of the ditch. Oh, the slope.
yeah,
All right.
yeah. He's identified a couple of things that do need to be addressed, which one is the amount of spillage that comes out of that culvert has created a very sizable hole, and the water just sits there. So he's made comments that he will address that particular issue as well.
Okay.
The other major issue was the simple fact that on each side of the driveway, when hydroseeding took place on our street, they neglected to do anything with regards to hydroseeding the slope down from the driveway into the ditch. As a result, the mud has continued to slide down the ditch from the north side down into the ditch itself, and what it's done now is it has blocked the culverts, and the water just basically sits in the ditch. When I came here today, there was still water in the ditch, despite the fact that there hasn't been any significant rainfall to that. If it was draining properly, it would have at least started to flow. It's just sitting there. He's going to address another issue with regards to the ditch by making the base of it or the bottom of it a little bit smoother, because it's very rough and the water just sits there as well. So it's created a major problem if anyone is wanting to cut their ditch, because the water just sits there. So.
Okay, anybody else? Go ahead, Councilor Boulanger.
Just, and you may or may not know this, but again, I'm just making a statement or a comment, so don't take it the wrong way.
I never do.
Oh, good, okay. And I get it too, about water in ditches, but if you want to define what a ditch is supposed to do, a ditch is supposed to catch, retain, and hold water, and, operative word, eventually drain off. Not all ditches in the RM and in any RM is going to drain water in the ditch immediately. So ditches are designed to catch, retain, hold, and eventually move the water. So I just want to make sure that you understand that the function of a ditch isn't to drain water as soon as the water goes into it. It's meant to catch the water, hold the water, and eventually move the water. But not all ditches, because the way the RMs are, the topography is,
Yeah.
you'd be digging to China before you'd get them to drain immediately. So I just want to it's not achievable to have a ditch do what most want it to do.
I don't necessarily think that I'm interested in having the water drain immediately, but after it does rain, okay, and if you do get a period of a couple of weeks where there is no subsequent rain and the water's still in the ditch, then that's my concern about the water eventually getting to a destination. And when it does get to a destination, which is another issue, It's the larger culvert that they replaced under the rail line. And what has subsequently happened right now, okay, is the level of the ditch is lower than the bottom of the culvert.
Got it.
So,
And if there's ruts there too, then it's not draining properly, you would smooth out the ditch to actually help it to flow, right?
yes, yeah, I understand what you're saying, but like, you know, at some particular point in time, that eventuality turns into an eyesore and a period of frustration, because a lot of the time, if you do go to cut the ditch, unfortunately, you have to cut around that level of the water.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, go ahead, Councillor Corbus.
We cut the ditch twice a year, once in the spring and once in the fall, when our mowers come through for the whole RM.
Yeah.
And that's what we'll be doing going forward. I mean, if, like Rob said, if people want to cut their own ditch, that's fine, you know. Like, I do that at my place, I cut my ditch too, you know.
I've cut it for 13 years at this particular stage, and you know what? It would be my intention that if the ditch was in a state of repair that allowed me to do it, I would continue to do it. But at this particular point in time, I'm getting a little bit older and I'm getting a little bit less agile, and it's a very difficult task when that slope is so severe that, as Sean said, there's not a darn thing that we can do at this particular stage in time. So, I mean, I could take the whippersnipper and go down there, but I'm not really solving the problem in a proper fashion, so.
Okay, I
So,
think we have,
Madam Mayor, if I
yeah,
could just close this off.
yeah.
So you came forward today to address an issue. So Sean has already been on site. I understand your complaint that you, and council's clearly heard it, and council can have a discussion with myself on that, about the time of responses and so forth. You clearly understand that the ditches are municipal property, that you can cut them if you choose or not. So you've already been clearly communicated with that the slope will be the slope.
Correct.
And the only way that that slope can change is the removal of trees on your property, and it would have to go into your property, which we would not intend on ever doing, because you will not be the ultimate owner in 50 years from now, or 100 years from now.
I
Hopefully you live
understand
that long. But my point is that on municipal property and for ditches to drain properly, as you suggested, they have to be sometimes sloped appropriately because of the flat land that we have. So those are engineered designs that said that that slope has to occur. Unfortunately, that slope was inappropriate before, but this is the intention and the design. So I'm just trying to get a clear understanding from you. What part are you asking of the RM now, based on your conversation with Sean?
What part?
Yes, so
Okay.
we said that the slope can't be corrected. We told you that the RM cuts the grass and you don't need to cut the grass. So Sean has already identified the various repairs that will be done to mitigate any future erosion and so forth.
Correct.
So what's left?
So, where the trees are, okay, is also in the same vicinity as the CEMR property. So going from that particular point where those trees are, east to the rail line, okay, I didn't have a concern with what Sean said about that. The slope can't be changed, the trees can't be removed or will not be removed. The area now, from where those trees are, going west, okay, to the edge of the driveway, okay, that part is very rough. I want the municipality to look at it and see if they can smooth it out somewhat. I will cut that. I will cut the other side of the ditch, okay? I will cut a portion of the ditch that is leading from where the trees are, but on the north side, okay? I
understand. Okay,
cannot do the south side.
Sorry for interrupting, so let me understand this. What you're saying is, the part that's left on your property, you'd like to be smoothed out to a specific satisfactory level. That'll be to a certain satisfactory level at the RM service level. So it may not meet yours, but yes, they'll take a look at it and that's what they'll do.
And that's fine. Any degree of improvement is going to be an improvement, believe me, as it stands right now.
But not with the expectation of being able to cut it, because we cannot guarantee that all ditches can be cuttable.
I cut it right now,
I understand that.
and at this particular stage in time, okay, I struggle to get through some of those ruts, etc., okay? If it's smoothed out to, you know, not a surface like this, but if it's reasonably smooth, I will continue to cut that side of the ditch, which extends from my yard down into the ditch on the south side without any problem.
Did they get rutted up by the internet coming in? Is that how it got wrecked, or?
First of all, it was the installation of the low-pressure system,
Okay,
okay? Previous to that, it was as a result of the drop that has come down and done work in the ditch.
okay.
But then after they hydroseeded that side of the ditch, they didn't
Well,
hydroseed it
that's right,
properly,
yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's all just bumpy.
Yeah.
It's-
Yeah, unfortunately, you guys got bamboozled by the first company that did the hydroseeding. They did a very poor job. And subsequently, some individuals came down the street in their half-ton trucks with bags of seed and tried to seed the ditches thereafter until you got Winnipeg hydroseeding in. Unfortunately, Winnipeg hydroseeding did not do a very good job of the south side of the ditch.
This is where we had the court case with the company that was supposed to hydroseed
Right,
the council.
Yeah.
yeah.
So collectively, at the end of the day, that south side of my ditch, or the ditch, it didn't really get the type of hydroseeding that some of the other ditches on the street did. So,
Okay, I think council has all the information that they can for this point in time, and I know that you've been in contact with Public Works, and I'm sure that our CAO will have a chat with Public Works again to see how we're gonna proceed, and I'd like to thank you very much for coming in today, and enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you.
thank you ever so much for listening to me. I probably went on a little longer, but I'm a little bit of a frustrated taxpayer at this point in time due to the length of time that it's taken to try and at least resolve this issue. So
Thanks.
if we can move forward, it would be greatly appreciated.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Fine, yeah,
Have a great day.
but you too. Okay, I think Lockport Development Corp is just around the corner there, so.
Can I grab a quick copy?
Oh, go ahead, yeah. We will grab your coffee and Heather's going to find our next delegation. I hope there's enough
Anybody
coffee.
else want any coffee?
I'm good, thank you.
Good, good.
Did you find it?
Good morning.
Brad, how are you?
I'm great, you?
Good, thanks.
Yeah. So we just
Maybe,
sit around the
Just sit
table?
around.
yeah, sit around the table
Okay.
and pull up a couple more chairs if you need to. and-
Okay. And where can we plug in an HDMI for the screen? Can we do that?
Yes, you can plug in to that device that's there. You need to probably install the software that comes along with it, ClickShare.
You want to do that?
Usually it's straightforward when you plug it in. If not, you can send me the presentation and I'll run it for you.
How you doing?
Good,
Keeping out of trouble?
always.
Get there.
Yeah, exciting. Wants to talk about our computer, probably.
Oh, I'm having more issues now. I don't know.
We have to open the service ticket,
Yes,
so.
I didn't even bring it, I Oh, otherwise I would have known there were 2 years usually. Okay.
Which?
I almost flipped over their cords are hanging out all over, we're just racing through the
It's
thing.
ClickShare, Windows usually recognizes it pretty quickly.
Yeah, there's something that came up here, I'm just trying to.
I sent it to you this morning.
Yeah, I put it
Oh.
on,
Do you want to?
yeah,
It's on the agenda?
yeah,
Oh, I can run it.
that's the same
right
one.
now.
Don't worry about it. We'll just-
Is this it?
Is that the one you want?
The 2 pages?
There's 2 pictures, but there's also a PowerPoint as well. that I sent this morning.
PowerPoint didn't load, let me do that quick. Do you want me to just email it to you?
Email it, sure, and then we'll put it up.
I'll load it up and I'll let you open it by email.
Okay.
Hello, how are you?
Great. Everyone have a good Thanksgiving, lots of turkey.
Lots of turkey.
None.
What? You know what?
Ours isn't for a couple of
Let's
weeks.
go to my place after the meeting and get some turkey sandwiches, because I got lots.
That's when you really enjoy it
Oh,
after,
yeah.
afterwards.
Yeah.
It was, gravy
It's
and,
like too much at the beginning,
yeah, for sure. All right, well, while you're doing that, we could start if you want, is that?
Well, we're missing 2 counselors
Oh, we are?
that went to
Okay.
grab a coffee, so
Oh, okay,
hopefully
sounds
they
good.
will be
Okay,
back.
well, we'll just keep talking turkey now.
Yeah.
Just refresh your agenda, because it looked like it's coming over to the agenda than it is your email.
Okay, Dylan, look at those
Well,
guys.
Deepak's is
Jesus.
Okay, we've got, nope, it's not here either.
It's still not loaded? There, refresh one more time.
It's a big one, it's 20 meg.
There we go.
Got it?
So that's not the first thing, that's part of what we're gonna talk about, but I'll do a bit of an intro first.
So you want me to get, you're,
I'm gonna start and then we have, oh, there we go.
There, we're all here now, so Brett, if you want to just start and perhaps introduce who you have with you in case there's some council members that don't know everybody.
Sure.
Thank you.
So myself, Brett Mitchell, I've been friends with these local business people for 30 years, in some cases more. The Truthweight gaffers, we've known each other since the first anniversary thing, and was it the 80th anniversary in Lockport. Brad Grandmark from A&W, and Colin Stone from Red Cats. Yeah. So we all sort of got together and did a lot of meetings as part of a committee when the bridge closed, and also getting through COVID. So we had a lot of meetings to try and help Lockport navigate through that without any casualties business-wise. So coming out of it, we had several initiatives that we were thinking of, and one is this campground. And so the way I feel about this whole thing, as someone who moved to this community from Winnipeg, is that Lockport has always been a destination for fun and activities. There was Rendezvous Park with Ferris wheel and go-karts and all that in the downtown, and then there was Skinner's Wet and Wild, of course. There was a drive-in movie theater, and there might be others, but there's always been a great reason to come and enjoy your leisure time in Lockport. And so in 2008, there was the Lockport Destination Strategy was created. It was multifaceted and like an incredibly large project that included the campground, but also included a boat launch, a marina, cable water ski course, and the idea of moving Spring Hill to Lockport. So it was monstrous, that project. And when you look at all the components, my opinion was that the campground would be a catalyst for other things, maybe from that destination strategy or not, but it's also a way to clean up that part of the world. It's a pretty bad area for crime and, you know, things untoward, and it's a beautiful spot. The view from both sides is phenomenal. The view to the bridge side or the view to the flowway side. It's kind of like a peninsula, and there's room for probably close to 100 campsites and several yurts that could line the shore of the river on the west side. So at this point, I'll pass that on to Colin. Colin created this PowerPoint here, and you did a fantastic job. And go ahead, Colin.
Awesome, thanks. Appreciate that. So again, my name is Colin Stone from Red River Cats. We're right across the river from the proposed sites. We've been working to develop different projects and initiatives in the Lockport area. We do the Lockport Ice Village every year as part of our business group that we've been doing that. That has brought well in excess of 15,000 people to our area to start fishing again. When I first started there was only about 300 to 400 people per year that visited that. So it's been a really great initiative, and we're hoping that something like this could also be really great. You want to do next slide? So there's room on there to do really 3 different versions. There's 30 acres of usable space for campground, RV, resort with yurts, tents, full-service sites. If you want to jump onto the next page. So this first one is, what you're looking at is on the left-hand side, the river, and on the top there horizontally is the floodway coming in. So on that peninsula, on that point, along the river, we're proposing that we could put, there's 1,000 feet of shoreline that we could put anywhere from 30 to 50 yurts that are literally overlooking the river. Next slide. Those yurts would be all season long on the riverbank, so they'd be a little bit elevated like in that picture drawn. We'd have them up further back on the shoreline because the water does fluctuate there. And we could, the beauty of the yurts that are on the markets today, they really can be used year-round, and they have heating in them, and they're really something else actually. Next slide. And it would be our vision that this is something that's used with year-round opportunities for those yurts. And that lit up all along that shoreline that's not being used to clean it up a lot. It would really turn that whole sign with the vision of the locks right there. It's such a great location. It would really be something spectacular. Next slide. The tent campsites, there's room. There's about 2,200 feet of tent space is now on the inside of the floodway. If you just wanted to go to the next slide, there, Deepak, that would be great. So what you're looking at now is on the opposite side of the actual floodway. This is, there'd be room for over 100 campsites all the way along there, with the ability to expand another 500 sites on the south side of the bridge if we wanted to expand it at a different time. This, pardon me, this is well above the water level. This is 25 feet above the water level. So this is, there's quite a embankment there. This is on the top of that embankment is where we're proposing those 100 feet of campground sites could be. Next slide. That's kind of an image of that. So that's with the floodway full, and we're talking about is up on that very top ridge, well above the water levels. On the top section of it, we have room for a full-service campsite and RVs. It's one of the fastest growing segments of the camping world. There's just no places to put your RVs. If you, in Manitoba, there's such a need for that right now. And having this great proximity to Winnipeg and having all this access to what Brent has mentioned to Birds Hill Park and all the different St. Andrews and Fort Garry, there's so many different things around here. It would be an incredible draw for that. Next slide. The beauty of this, so this is now on the top center of that hill. just to kind of put that into perspective, again, the red line there is the yurts, the yellow line are the tents, and then the RV, the full service powered RV service would be along the top edges of that land. You could just jump on to the next slide for us. So these would be full service RVs. They're complete with power, water, sewer, and fire pits in all of the sites. Next slide. Boy, my eyes aren't that good. I don't know. Deepak,
Address
you
the
can
shortage
kind
of provincial sites in the province,
Yep.
close to our largest population center where they are needed most. Trails to connect to Birds Hill Park, St. Andrews, Lock and Dam, Lower Fort Garry, many flood options, food options, sorry, such as Gaffers, Sonia, Skinner's 44, and River Road, Subway, Ricky's, Papa Carlos, and the Half Moon. Local grocery store and fueling station and fishing charters and river tours in all historically significant area, and a stunning panoramic view of the St. Andrews Lock and Dam all the way around the floodway spillway.
Awesome. Thank
And
you.
don't forget anything.
If you can, so there's a really, if we can just jump on to the next slide, I'm just gonna talk about this for right now, this location compared to putting in a full, would cost a fraction of what it would normally do, because we already have existing road access there right now. There's already an existing power and electrical supply, there's an existing sewer supply, and there's existing water that is already there, that's brought up right to the mouth of that. So that is a huge benefit to a normal campground that would cost you huge dollars for infrastructure to bring this in. We really already have that set up, ready to go in that facility to the doorstep. We can grab the next slide for me. Economic benefits, I meant to change that on this one. If we based our campsite at only 2 people per campsite, which doesn't usually happen, usually I take a family, but maybe I'm tenting 2 people at $20 a day for 6 months of the year, it would have a $4 million impact on the local businesses if every person spent $20 for those 6 months, based on a 2 people per campsite. It's a really significant impact to the local businesses. Next slide. Just some of the considerations, there's the potential for development of future indigenous elements around the park there. There's all kinds of artifacts that clearly have been found there. If you can jump on to the next slide, we talk a little bit more about that. Oh, the disadvantages. And I wouldn't mind taking a moment out to kind of talk about these and the difference between kind of perception and reality, because we run into this a lot. As business owners, we try and find a way through the problems and a way through this and find a solution to things. And instead of reasons why we can't do something, we're trying to find reasons how to do something. A couple of the challenges that we ran into was the concerns of the water levels. And typically, obviously, the floodway is used in the springtime typically, and that's prior to camping season, so typically is missing that season altogether. We've had a number of pushbacks. They were worried that tent pegs would cause erosion, and that the weight of RVs could somehow impact the integrity of the floodway itself. We've spoken to the engineers and the designers and builders who did that and said, if you understood how we built that and the limestone that we put in that will never move, like you couldn't find a more solid piece of land to build on than what's there. And so we ran into a couple of initial pushbacks that instead of, there are reasons not to do it instead of trying to find reasons to do it. And if you don't want a tent peg in there, then and you think that that's going to cause erosions, what were we talking about, the membranes that they had put down already? If you wanted to talk briefly on that one.
The geotech.
The geotech is,
But also the engineering is all been done, the province has done all the engineering of that whole area. It was done at the same time as, the renovation to Lock Dam and Bridge. So there's, all that's done too, along with the whole electrical and sewer water thing. We don't have to do that either.
Sure. So their concerns, for any flooding to happen, the water levels would have to exceed the 1997 levels for where we're proposing to put things. I would really,
By 20 feet or so.
So, by 25 feet. So it really isn't a flooding concern or a liability concern. We have this unused piece of parcel of land that is just so perfect for this application, and the application is in such dire need. And it really is a great opportunity, I think, for Lockport in general. And of course, the campsites would really only be used after that spring runoff, so it's not a concern. We'd be diligent about that, obviously. There's lots of times where Spring Hill gets shut down because of the water, and they get shut down early. If there was something catastrophic that was happening, obviously people would be sensible about that, and if the odd thing came up that we would have to close part of the campground, then we would be able to do that. So I think that there's ways to manage that risk, although in my humble opinion, it's a very, very low risk to begin with. I would really love the opportunity, if you guys ever have a moment and you're out that way around the subway, take a drive in there. There's roads all the way in there, and it is a great place to see. And in fact, you want to talk to, no, Dave, it was you actually that brought somebody.
We're contingent at Manitoba.
Yeah.
So we made a presentation to the province a year ago, was that 2 years ago now?
Oh, probably 3. The first
Anyway,
one?
we as a committee went to the ledge, we made a presentation, but prior to that, I made a call to a fellow that I know who used to be a deputy minister for infrastructure. And I hadn't seen him in 20 years. He came out, we met, he was a bit skeptical, just citing the difficulties in dealing with the province and doing something on provincial property and a floodway. And I said, let's take a drive over, and we drove over onto the parcel that we're talking about. And when he saw the location and the views and the elevation above the river and above the floodway, he just could not believe that nothing had been done there in the 40 years. So he changed his mind very quickly that there should be something there. And you know, gave us that extra push when we didn't make our presentation to council or to the province. Unfortunately, the province was not receptive. They were more, I guess, likely to find reasons why it can't be done. The ridiculous pushback on tent pegs destabilizing the infrastructure was just an example of how quickly they wanted us out of their office. But that campground, that development has been kind of in discussion for 20 years, and if the province is short on campgrounds, as they profess to be, and they went ahead and did the Winnipeg Beach campground, and just as recently as 2-3 years ago, they professed that there needs to be more camping close to Winnipeg. We fit the bill, the property fits the bill, it's provincial property. It has infrastructure on it, it's definitely a higher and better use. Right now it's a wasteland on that property. It's everything from dumped bodies over the years. A couple of times my memory tells me about bodies that were dropped there from being killed someplace else. And, so it would be a higher and better use of property that's not used at all. Once you see it, you understand the potential that it has, and everything that Solomon has presented here is part of the vision that needs to be in place to try and push this project forward. If the province doesn't want to do it, even though they say they need camping, there's private money that would do it, if municipal council becomes a proponent, it's more convincing, it's more effective than a private presentation. And I know that the municipality has an investment on that property already with the sewage treatment plant there, so you're well versed in how that arrangement took place and how any further arrangement could take place. But a campground in Lockport would definitely benefit the community, it would benefit the municipality, it would create jobs, it would create more cash flow in the community and help clean it up there. So I think the presentation today needs to kind of get everybody's attention that there is definitely a positive impact if we can get some development on that property.
And it certainly wouldn't restrict access to any of the waterworks in any way, shape, or form. In fact, the roads would be more developed all the way to that point, and they would have the same access to do any maintenance or anything that they're doing right now. So it doesn't restrict anybody in any way, shape, or form.
Have you all been there? Have you all actually gone up behind that area where it's all, where we're talking about there? Yeah? I just wonder if we were us all meeting there and having a look together.
Council's been on that site several times.
Yeah. Are there any concerns from, I would love to kind of, look into the minds here a little bit and have an open discussion, if we have 2 minutes, to see if there's, any kind of initial thoughts or concerns that we can maybe address just openly.
Yeah, the first thing I'd like Deepak to do is he's drawn some squares on the map here, so I'd like to have him explain what those are. Now they've disappeared.
Councilor Blanche, I can look them up quickly enough.
Okay.
Councilor Blanche wanted to take, go ahead, Councilor.
Yeah, go ahead, Rob.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for your presentation. As you're aware, I retired as a conservation officer in that area. I'm familiar with, I'm going to go on a limb by saying every centimeter okay, of that mud, of that land. I've walked it, I grew up there. I'm completely intimate with that area. I know the topography, I know where things drop off, I know where things are.
Yeah, great.
As you're aware, Operation Cleanup cleans the area.
Yeah.
So I have a couple of questions, and I know you know that, and you said it already, that is Crown or provincial property, Floodway Authority, the old name they used to give it. One thing I wrote down was when you were talking about the yurt locations, that area right in here.
Yep.
And as you know, I mean, the drop-off is like this. So are you suggesting the yurts would go sort of just right along that ridge line, looking over?
Looking over the river,
Okay.
but way up, high up on the top bank.
Okay, and the picture that was in our agenda there, it wasn't on your slideshow, but there's a picture of the carve-out portion of where the land would be tiered down to a boat launch area.
That's
it.
not part of it.
That's
This is actually just a map that was pulled out of the destination strategy.
Yes, so I was going to
So
say
that's not going to be
Good.
part of it. It's just the camp.
Okay, because that was part of our destination Lockport
Yes,
strategy that came from. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a challenge to do that, so that's not at this point. Stage one will be to put in those yurts and put it along that upper bank there.
Yeah.
It's probably, on that roadway, off the roadway, just overlooking the river.
Yeah.
It would be a fantastic scenic.
I guess my last question would be the capital investment into this. Who you had commented on private money.
We're looking
It is.
for any option, really. We're looking at, I don't know if you're aware of how it happened in Winnipeg Beach, but it started with a group of business people who had an idea of having a campground in Winnipeg Beach. And when they were applying to the province to get the go-ahead for a license to do it, the province came out, looked at it, and said, you know what, we like this. You guys go away, we're going to do it.
Okay, so you're hoping
And
it's
so
that kind
any
of.
scenario, whether it's the business person, the private entity, or it's the province, or it's, any combination of anything to make this come to fruition.
Right. But the first indication.
We definitely looked at options, and there are private options for people that are more than willing to do that. that sometimes makes it a little hairy because you're leasing Crown land, of course, and whether they want to get into that, it would be the easiest if the province ultimately wanted to probably do this, but there, you know, the idea is we're more interested in getting across the goal line. The method of how we get through there, we're open to again, let's find a way through it. And there definitely, there's been plenty private investors that would say, hey, I would build a campground in a moment in there.
Thank you, that's it, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else comments? Go ahead, Councilor Roach.
Thanks for your presentation. Nice to see you all again. This council is very open and interested in any type of development. And we are very familiar with the property. You're asking what would hold it up. On the river portion is the geo thing, which is a cost. Right now, we're having problems presently with doing some development in the area with historical and heritage stuff, which is another thing, hoop you gotta jump through, let's say.
Sure.
Another question is, if it happens, who's gonna run it? Who's gonna get paid for? Just, yeah.
We're open to any option.
And we're listening.
Would you like to do it?
Oh, no, I love it. I live there too, so.
Yeah. So, like you said, whatever way gets us across the goal line here, whichever is, I mean, I think the most logical from the outside is if the province were to do what they did in Winnipeg Beach would be unbelievable.
I was just
and
there
a
a
great
couple
revenue
weeks ago.
source for them.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Would love to see something like that there. There's, like I said, there's a couple of hoops, but speaking for myself, I would support any proposal. that works.
Glenn, just to address your one comment, that land is not natural land. It's that land has been turned already. So when it comes to indigenous value to land, that kind of it shouldn't apply. Because most of that land is
Good luck.
It does.
Sorry to laugh, but yeah, we're having problems with
No,
that.
that's a good point, because it was made.
Yes.
it's a
so
man-made
it should be-
structure, basically.
Yeah, that point about it should be.
So were those burial grounds, they were made.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah, it's all the limestone that was brought in there and dumped in that whole point is an artificial.
Okay, I was not aware of that.
Yeah, it's, obviously the riverbanks have been brought up and you're absolutely, like, we're hoping not to do too much, really digging in that sense. The year so long, we're not trying to disturb things. We clean up, open up some spots and.
Deeper than 6 inch.
That's right.
do you have an engineer report on this?
Well, the
or
province
is that
apparently did the engineering on that peninsula just before the renovations were done to the bridge.
Yeah, but they did that for the dike and all that. They never did it to put stuff on there or something like that.
Yeah.
That's one thing they're gonna want,
Sure.
you know?
The-
And
the-
with the Urix coming along on the bank on top like that, right away they're gonna see there's a stress point.
Yeah.
A lot, I mean,
Yeah,
one
and
final
Councilor
comment.
Strang.
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Sandra.
That's okay, no, I'm just listening to everything, and you know what, and Glenn's absolutely correct, that this council is total agreement, we're for development. But I guess the one thing is getting those provincial people out of the office and coming to actually see the area. Because that's what we find sitting around this table, that we get turned down on items, and it's just that, have you been out to that area?
Thanks,
No,
Scott.
and they're doing everything sitting at that desk.
Appreciate that.
With every decision that they're making. So that's the thing, is just getting them out there. And they would see how great, very positive that it is
So
for the
if
area.
somehow we're able to reel them in,
Yes.
can we possibly get some of you folks to come to that meeting and in support of what we're trying to do here? I think we're probably gonna have lots of discussion between now and that happening, but.
Go ahead, Councilor. Oh,
Sorry.
go ahead, Dee.
We had a meeting, I guess 2 years ago, where the minister came and met with us, and we booked a bus from the handicap folks in Salford And I think there was about a dozen of us, the minister and his deputy, and somebody else, it was 3 of them from the province. And again, they were skeptical. But when we all got on the bus from Gaffers and we drove up on the floodway and the minister and I kind of walked on the hill and then we walked down the hill and he was in awe. So he was a proponent at the end of that meeting. But by the time he got back to the ledge and the people there told him it's a lot of work, you know, ministers don't necessarily know a whole bunch. They're elected officials and they listen to the trained people that surround them, which is, you know, what you should do. But when he saw it, we convinced him, you know, or he convinced himself that it was a great project to pursue. But we couldn't get it over the hump, sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
Go ahead, Rob.
No, I just one final comment, and we are being recorded, and my comment's going to be just such that I think a lot of the engineering that you speak of took place when the floodway was expanded and they redid the spillway. When they redid that spillway, that whole project took probably 2 years. If you remember, they had a spent plant set up there, okay? So all that construction that took place in the widening of the floodway and the reconstruction, because they jackhammered that whole old spillway out and created a whole new one. They created a whole construction site exactly where your campground is. So when they were doing the engineering, part of that rebuilding was looking at that whole slope. So there's a little hypocrisy here where there was no heritage impact study done when they did that. So I'm just going out on the limb by saying that because it's the truth.
Yeah.
There was nothing. They just went and redid the floodway, and that's my comment. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Goes to show you, you know, when we want to find a way through, we can make a way through. We just got to find the right people to help us push it in that direction with that same vision and understanding the huge financial impact that could have to Lockwood. I see what a little village has done in the ice village. It's remarkable now, to be honest with you, the impact that we've had, and we now are having Domino's Pizza delivering right to, they got maps and they deliver right to your ice shack and deliver your hot wings and pizza right into your ice shack. And the amount of companies that have, whether it's Root Beer Road, and everyone gets to name their own road and their street, and when somebody catches a fish, they go underneath a picture of Root Beer Road and take a picture of it, and you get tons of, all of these businesses, like local businesses, have come together to make that possible every year. It's been an amazing success, and the amount to have cleared roads and make it safe for everyone, and we test the ice, we do all these things to try and drive a positive impact and change what it looks like, and all of a sudden we get a tremendous, come out on a Saturday, it just packed it down there. It never used to be like that. It used to be that many years ago, and then it just stopped. And we're trying to bring that back. This is something that would have an impact to the businesses times 1,000 compared to what we do there. And it would be such a great opportunity to bring people out. And what do you do if any of you guys have gone camping? You're looking for something to do while you're in the area. And it'll affect guides, it'll affect restaurants, it'll affect the gas stations and the golfing and all these different things that will have major impact to the success of these businesses as hundreds of people are brought to that all year round.
And let's face it, if it was to happen, it would attract much more in the future. If that's, you know, 100 families were out there all summer every weekend, you could see lots of entrepreneurs going, hey,
What else can we
there's
do?
an opportunity here.
Go ahead, Councillor Sutherland.
Well, thanks for your presentation, and I think all of councils would support whatever happens there. If the province were to do this, there would be a lot less, it would take a lot less time. It's unfortunately, Rob kind of brought this up.
Yeah.
If it was a private enterprise or somebody, investors, they would have to, it's going to jump through a lot more hoops to get this project going.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
The province, it would be nice if they do it, but it would be done a lot quicker.
Well, just think about the Brunkill Dike.
Yeah.
How fast that thing went up, right?
There you go. Yeah.
Especially they're spending money trying to expand and build farms in Manitoba right now. And yet we have a perfect spot close to Winnipeg with
Yeah.
half that infrastructure already in there on land that they already own. And we're not doing that.
Well, you have to get the province on board.
Yeah.
The RN would support it,
So in what way
I think
do
it's a
they-
great idea, but you gotta get the province.
Yeah, so other than, writing a letter in support, what else could the municipality do to help us get the attention of the province that this is really a good idea, and they should really take it more seriously?
I'm gonna hand it over to Deepak. I see he's got some colors on the map again here, so I'll let him go over that and perhaps he can take it a little bit further.
Just to make sure that everything's clear here. The green are where you're proposing, the top green is where the yurts would go approximately, and the bottom green is where you'd be looking at the campsites. And that's all on floodway land, as you can see from this diagram. When we click in here, this is all owned by the province of Manitoba, all that land.
Yeah.
Okay, so the province of Manitoba makes those decisions. This is all part of the floodway, and it falls under the floodway authority. So there are many areas of the province you have to talk to. So let's be clear on that. So one is parks, who's responsible for, and they have a park, but the park is only down here. Okay, and here. That's the park, and the rest of it is not parks. But the floodway falls under infrastructure, Manitoba Transportation and Infrastructure, not under parks. So I'm not sure which minister you talked to.
Infrastructure.
Infrastructure. So on top of that, this entire area, I've highlighted two round circles there. Those round circles have identified that there were possibly previous burial grounds in that area, and they are specifically very, very sensitive to that, so you have to go through sports and heritage in order to get the approvals that are needed before, and that's hundreds of thousands of dollars in doing studies, because we already have a developer going through that right now. So this RM has been very, very supportive, and even wrote letters to the Premier and the various ministers requesting for the development. Now what I want to show you, which is the most important part here, is what I want to show you here is the interest that sports, heritage, and culture. This has been identified as the second most sensitive area by Heritage Manitoba, regardless of what's happened in the past. They're only moving forward. So they're saying moving forward, they're interested in that as being very, very sensitive. So they are requesting for heritage studies being done on all of that. That's not something that the municipality is supporting or pushing for, but that's what may be occurring as part of this. We've already been told that sites that are there might require studies and requires working together with the indigenous groups that were there, especially after the two bodies that were discovered when they were doing the bridge reconstruction, that they are even more sensitive to those issues. So those become part of it. The last thing I wanted to, I'm not trying to eliminate any ideas here. I'm just trying to tell you the challenges that we're facing as a municipality along with what you're doing. And then we'll talk a little bit about what could be done. Some of it will be recorded. So I'll be very careful in my words. The issue here is that all that requires, so just to make it clear, when we brought water and sewer here, we have water here, we have sewer here. And we have sewer that can service much more than this, water that can service much more than this, and the capacities are all there. But when we had to go under the floodway, just to bring the pipe in, we had to go down to bedrock. They did not allow us to just tunnel under the floodway. So I think there might be a challenge of trying to put pipes. So the pipes come here, they come under the floodway, and then they end here. Now to take those pipes back to provide those services, that's going to be another engineering challenge, because they're not going to let you drill 8 feet down into the floodway. You'll have to be a lot lower than that. And that's a very, very significant cost because the engineers from the province restricted that. That was an additional cost for the RM to be able to put our sewer lines and our water lines under the floodway. And so that's something that needs to be taken into consideration with MIT. Lastly, on this is that there are challenges that the province may not allow due to the multiple jurisdictions that are involved here. And so those are the challenges. Now, what are the opportunities? I think what you're doing is the right thing. Businesses getting together, starting a campaign. I think from what I'm hearing from council's supportive of your campaign and are willing to do things as necessary, but the campaign is going to have to involve a lot more citizens and businesses in order for the province. Because as you know, we're a representative democracy, and the representation of the businesses and local residents is what's going to make things work. Is the best way I could say it.
Go ahead, Councillor Belanger.
The last point that Mr. Administrator made is a very important one, because when we make the correlation or the comparison to the Winnipeg Beach campground, which was just, and I'm familiar with that as well, which was just a piece of land right beside the conservation office and right by the lake, it was a no-brainer, it was an easy one. When you compare it to the comment that he just made, and I think the reason why the province is so cautious is there's so many departments involved in this site. And that's very important to remember. When you look at the Floodway Authority, when you look at Heritage, when you look at MIT, infrastructure, and maybe even one more, there's 4 different government departments that are all cautious about this area, right? And that is different than Winnipeg Beach. So this is a much different, I love it, but the point he made at the end is very important, because I think that's what they're seeing, is there's just so many parameters to go through. It's doable, but that's what's making it challenging. Hope you understand.
No, I appreciate you bringing that up, because if we don't know what how to approach that, that's very insightful and helpful, and I really appreciate all your comments here. Right? I'm taking it as a constructive way that I think you're meaning it to be, that, hey guys, these are the hurdles you're going to have to work through. And
if we can assist you, we will.
Yeah, that's awesome.
There's engineering solutions to most of these challenges that are out there, definitely.
And the one engineering solution that I was thinking of when you were saying it, because it's so true, is the water. So what you indicate to them is, fine, we're not going to bury the lines. We're going to do shallow bury. We're going to lay the pipes on top of the ground. It's going to be pushed and flushed out in the fall anyway. It's not for winter. So you can spark those lines up in the sun in the spring. They're not going to freeze. And in September, you drain them. So the water lines don't need to be buried. They could just... Yep.
Sorry guys, I'm just, didn't St. Clements participate in the development of either community center or campground in the Grand Beach area? Was that something that happened in the RM has...
Community center.
It's just a community center? Okay, okay. I know there was some development out there. Okay.
Yes, what you're talking about there is a campground, the GMCC, the Grand Marais Community Central, which was done on municipal land with a community center that was set up there, which is the Grand Marais Community Central. Along with that, there was a campground, but the campground was seen as part of a not-for-profit group that was given the campground to manage as a long part of it. Now, that's a different type of a participation than this, because we don't own the land, we don't own anything in this area. So the first order of business is getting permission from the property owner, which is the province of Manitoba. So that would, will they ever accommodate a lease or any kind of development? No, the landowner has certain rights, just like the municipality has a landowner in Grand Beach, which may be the one you're talking about.
That's the one I was thinking of, yes. So that just kind of tells me that the council has some experience in dealing with this type of development and may have knowledge, of course, that allows them to be successful. So.
Council has experience in building a campground. That's not the issue in this case. It's
No,
the-
that's engineering.
It's more the engineering that's, and the various approvals. You've got the province of Manitoba as a landowner, you've got multiple types of approvals. Parks, sports and heritage for heritage purposes, MIT for technical and engineering, and the stability of the floodway, and
Floodway authority.
floodway, well, that's the floodway MIT and engineering, and sorry, parks, sports heritage, then planning from provincial planning. And so,
Would
all
there,
that,
would there be a way to partner perhaps with Sports Heritage, because they own part of that park plan there, and developing out that park plan and in conjunction with, you know, their approval? And I wonder if we bring them along, to get this done, and say, look, you have already a park here that we can help develop. This is what we're looking for.
I think there's some great opportunities. I think the issue is how to bring province to the table.
Yeah, fair.
And I think I gave you some very, very politically correct ways of doing it, which is the province needs to see that you're in support, maybe some sort of a campaign requesting for meetings, all those kinds of things would help. I think the council will support what's needed, but at the end of the day, they are the property owners that need to give the proper kinds of approvals, and that the municipality can certainly step up to the table. We've got services. It's just a matter of figuring out engineering in order to provide those types of services in that area. We're already looking to go and tunnel under the river, which has been communicated to provide water to St. Andrews. We're already looking at extending our water down south to East St. Paul. Those are all for our regional infrastructure that we're building for the RM and the area.
Go ahead, Councillor Boulanger.
Just one more thing, you guys are on the right track, and this is how I've always done things, and I think sometimes it can work, because the more doors you can knock on, the more ministers you can chinwag with, the more sport heritage people you can talk to, they're all gonna talk eventually and go, did you have a meeting with, da-da-da? So did we. So the more people that you can meet and talk to, they're all eventually gonna have to come together and talk, hey, did you talk? They're all gonna, so I just find the more doors you knock on, the more meetings you have, the more this gets out there. And then when the RM, if we do get involved in helping you push it and chinwag it, it all culminates, it all sort of comes together, right?
That's great.
Yeah.
And the larger your group is too, you know, that'll help too. Is, you know, and especially if the province knows you have money, and they don't have to put theirs in, they'll like that for sure.
Awesome. Well, guys, I really appreciate your time, and your feedback was really constructive and well received at our end. That this helps kind of give us a direction to go in and figure who's the next giant we got to slay, so to speak. So we appreciate that very much, and appreciate your wisdom on this.
Okay, thank you very much for your presentation, and we're just going to take a couple-minute break here, so just bear with us for a few minutes and we'll continue on. You want to- Yeah. I'm going to get coffee because I'm freezing.
Do you want us to stick around, or?
Or it's not-
Yes, I'm just in the process of doing that.